What's up, everyone? B the Installer here, and my lovely wife, Jen.
Hey, guys.
And we're here with the Samsung 8K Qn800b 75-inch version. So pretty stoked to show you this TV. It's got the infinity bezel, got the One Connect box, super thin profile, no gap wall mount, all the great features of the 8K Samsung. Really excited to show you the unboxing and setup, and even compare it against the 83-inch A90J from Sony, that Master Series OLED, to let you see the QLED versus OLED comparison. So let's get into it.
But before we get into that, don't forget to smash the like button, hit subscribe, and ring the notifications bell so you can be notified when we have a new upload. My question of the day is, this is like the second best, the value option of the 8K from Samsung. So are you gonna go for top of the line, or are you gonna go for second best? Real world example, I could have had Thor, actual Thor, as my husband, and I chose Brandon. He was a close second. I went with Brandon. I'm good with it. So let me know, do you like the second best quality value option, or you want to go for the top?
Good analogy. All right, let's do this.
Smooth.
Yeah, just like Caesar sitting in the background.
He's our baby. Okay,
Like
let's pop it.
All right.
Oh, here we go.
Coming down the line, what's over there?
Okay, coming down the line, we have our quick setup guide. Got, oh, I think I know what this is. The One Connect box. Looks like a laptop.
Yeah, the 8K definitely looks like a laptop. The Qn800b has that same one, I think, and then the frame still has an older one.
It looks like part of the stand.
I believe that remember the 8K had a stand that could hold the One Connect box, so I'm probably
right.
had that same thing here.
I see a little level in there.
Nice.
Quality. And what do we have down here? Looks like cover plates. The
Spacers?
spacers.
So we can put the One Connect box behind the TV, if needed.
And then the goodies bag with the remote, really nice. We love those Samsung remotes, cord and cords.
Cool. Take the top off?
Yep.
Okay, let's lift that up. What do we got, Caesar? What do we got? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks awesome. I like that infinite bezel design. It looks basically the same as the Qn800b. It really does. I think there's just a small bezel on the front that's a little different, but it looks identical to me. Awesome.
Looks pretty.
Let's get this stand figured out.
Okay, part of the stand. We'll put it back here. This is the heavy side.
That one makes the box unstable, so we gotta be careful when you're unboxing it, that when you take that out, that the TV doesn't end up tipping. Now this one is pretty stable. Some of the other brands, once you take that stand out, they could fall, so be really careful. The instructions tell us to open up the box and lay it down, and then you can pull out the pieces from the side and insert them on the ends to give it some more stability. And then you can pull out the sections in the middle, giving you an opportunity to stick the three-piece stand in there. So you gotta put the stand together and do all that. But you can do it all standing up, so that's pretty cool. So we'll do that real quick, and then we'll let you guys check that out. Let's open up the end. On the end, there's that little piece you gotta flip through. All right, and then here, I think you just stick this piece in like that. So spin it, it's gotta go that way for you. This will just give the box a little bit more stability so it can't tip over. And then we have this piece right here. Look at that, it just lifts right out. And then you slide the other one out the other way. So you wanna, I got the thing, you wanna pull that one out. And there you go, just like that, we have access to the back. So these have the little hooks on them, so those go up into these holes, making that simple. And then put these 4 screws in. All right, now we'll put these other 2 pieces together and we'll be all set. So we'll set this piece on here, connect the 4 screws to this. Okay, and then this piece just hangs on here, and then while it's just hanging there, you can secure the other 4 screws. So there you go, 3 different pieces, a little complicated, but the benefit of housing the One Connect box in a very neat and tidy manner is well worth it. So let's get this TV up on a stand. Let's pick the TV out and set it over here, and then we'll slide our beautiful IKEA furniture behind it, huh?
I dig it.
All right, let's go. Ready? Get behind it. Go ahead behind it. 1, 2, 3, up. Everything comes with it. All right. Good deal. Grab that one. Ooh, watch out for that PS5. Don't want to damage that. Let's go this way a little bit. All right. Hey, that was a good placement. This TV is in like the middleweight class. It's not like a featherweight, but it's not a like super heavyweight either, so not too bad. Should we take this off?
Yeah, well, let's do it.
It's definitely a nice thin looking TV, but it has some heft to it, you know. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ooh-wee. I like it.
There we go. Looks good.
All right. Before we get the One Connect box, we'll have Jen take some of the plastic off. The plastic around the outer edge covers some of the holes that I believe is there for some heat dissipation. So make sure that you take that off. You want to come over here and get that bad boy?
Sure.
All right, let's see you get it. Let's see you get it in one piece.
Ooh, made the corner.
She's around the first corner.
And she rounds the second.
Oh.
Well, I think that wasn't me. That wasn't me!
There you go. Yeah, I think it's broken up into 2 pieces, so.
Or even. Yep.
Is that it?
I wanted more.
I think that's it.
Think so.
Awesome, good deal. Ow, you hit me, not the camera. Okay, not as much plastic to remove. I know it wasn't quite as fun as you'd want it to be with that.
Yeah.
We need one of those like full sheets to pull off. That's the real fun. But thanks for helping. I'm gonna show them the remote, One Connect box, and I'll holler back when we get this all set up so you can see how pretty it looks. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
All right, before I get to the back, I wanted to show you the side profile. There's all those holes I was speaking of, but this design is just so cool. Such a thin TV. I mean, it's about as thin as you can get if you want to wall mount something. And I love the design. I love the gray bezel. It just looks awesome. So let's get to the back here and check out the One Connect box and speakers. When you get to the back here, it has a 400 by 400 millimeter VISA pattern. It doesn't come with the no gap wall mount. I believe you can use it, but it doesn't come with one. Neither does the 900B. I believe, and you can put the One Connect box right here and then use spacers on the back on a different kind of mount. So it has various speakers on the back. It's pretty cool in that it sounds pretty good up against the wall. I'll show you more about that in a bit, but let's put this One Connect box here and connect it because we can't turn the TV on until we do. So here is the new One Connect box, the newer One Connect box. We'll get this plastic off. Ooh. Jen will be jealous. It has 4 HDMIs on the back. They're HDMI 2.1, so you can game at 4K at 120 on any of them. HDMI 3 here is the eARC, so if you need to connect your soundbar or your stereo system to send sound to it, that's where you plug it into number 3 there. USB, this is where you connect the one wire right there, and it's got your ATSC 3.0 tuner there, landline, optical, and X-Link. There you go, pretty straightforward. Overall, these have gotten bigger and bigger over time, but definitely a little thinner and lighter, so it's pretty cool that you can just set this right on the back of the stand and then connect your wires. And then it has a little cover you can put over that I'll show you in just a second. You do get 2 options for the one wire. You get a shorter version if you're gonna just use it on the stand like that, or you do get a 15-foot version of this if you're going to have to put this into a cabinet like we have here if you wanted to connect it down the wall there, or if you're gonna have it wall mounted, it would be for that as well. So I'm gonna leave that one right in there and grab this shorter one. And so we just connect this one down here. The smaller end goes into the One Connect box, and then this one has the TV facing outward, and you just connect that right into the TV. There you go. And they give you a little screw you can put in there if you want to pin it in. So we'll connect the PS5 and the Apple TV in there, but we'll have to connect the power cord first, which is on the bottom there, and then this wire can go along this channel right there and be placed back up onto the stand. And then you can output this power cord down at the bottom with the HDMI cords and then cover this up, which is pretty convenient. So we'll have to put those 2 wires like that, connect it. There you go. There's a little hole in the bottom, but it's just kind of hard to make that turn that 90 degrees. I think that looks good. Again, if you have more wires, they can come down. You could zip tie them. Let's power this sucker up and show you what this TV can do. All right, here is the Samsung solar cell remote. I'm a big fan of Samsung remotes. I like the fact that the remote is pretty small and you can get all the buttons with one hand. Up, down, left, right, back button, home button is well placed. And the volume and channel buttons you can feel, so it's really easy to know where those are. And then you have some of the buttons at the bottom, Netflix, Disney, Amazon Prime, and the Samsung Plus TV, which has some pretty cool channels I'll show you in a bit. And of course, you can charge it by just leaving it up in the light here, or it does have a USB-C connection on the bottom. So very good remote, and let's go ahead and turn this thing on. All right, we're on the home screen. As you can see, that first thing that came up was the brightness optimizer, and we gotta make sure that that's off so we have this TV in full power. So let's click up and go into the settings real quick and choose that we wanna have no power options on. Turn off the brightness optimization and the motion lighting and all this so that it's all off. Exit out of here and we'll show you the OS. Here we have the Tizen OS 22. On some of the other TVs, it hasn't been the swiftest OS, but overall, it does the trick. Got a lot of apps. As you can see, you can add more as needed, but moving around this screen, sometimes it has a little delay with it. You have right here some of the recent things you've been watching, and it also shows what's on now. I mean, I haven't logged into any other apps, so this is just the Samsung Plus, which is pretty cool. You can click on these, and there's some really good content. It does take a moment for the resolution to dial in, but once it does, it's fairly good resolution for being free channels. You can scroll down and browse, click on the guide, go through all kinds of different free channels. And as I said before, this is how I got hooked on Kitchen Nightmares. What a great show. Plenty of channels to get lost on. If you wanted to just use these free channels as your entertainment, you surely could. But let's get back to the actual home screen. You also have a gaming area, an ambient area, and a search function. The ambient mode allows you to set some screensavers, and it's not exactly like the Samsung Frame, but it does give you some pretty cool backgrounds. If you want to click on one of them, you can download it and then display this when the TV is not being used. So it's pretty cool. I like it. And if you want to make adjustments to these, you just press the center button on the remote. You can view details, make it a favorite, has some screen settings, which you can increase the brightness of the actual background, color tones, and all this. So it's pretty cool. Have more features than it has had in the previous years. I first noticed it on the Samsung Frame, but this ambient mode on all of the new Qled TVs is really improved. And then you have a gaming area where you can actually stream games, which I don't really do, or you can connect one of your favorite systems and get to that through here. It has a bunch of popular games, and as you can see, Xbox, all that stuff. But we'll connect the PS5 and play some Call of Duty in a second. And then you also have picture-in-picture, or what they call multi-view, where you can split the screen and you could have YouTube on one side while you have a source on the other. It's pretty cool. You can move these around the frame and you can have sound on either one of them depending on what you want. And you can add another screen to it. And if you have a Samsung phone, you can actually use that to tap on the right side and display what's on your phone, kind of like Chromecast, but in a Samsung sense, and it's pretty cool. I like that. I don't know how often I would use that, but maybe to display some pictures or show people what's going on a funny reel or something like that. But really what I want to show you besides the OS is some different types of content that you'd probably use this TV for. And first up is going to be regular SDR, or standard dynamic range content, which is your typical cable, sports, movies that you'd watch through a cable box, or like we would on YouTube TV. And I don't know about you guys, but what I like to watch when I'm watching YouTube TV is sports, of course. So whether it's baseball or soon to be football, which is really what I want to watch, I like to see a bright and vibrant QLED with good motion, because if it's not going to have perfect upscaling and motion, at least a bright screen can take your eyes off some of that. We've reviewed some TVs that have had pretty subpar motion, or maybe an OLED that isn't quite as bright as something like this, but this is a good combination of both. It looks like it's upscaling well. It has solid motion control, whether it's with sports or with movies. And again, super bright and vibrant QLED from Samsung, so you're definitely going to win. Obviously, the 8K doesn't necessarily help with regards to upscaling this sort of content. It's not like it's going to be able to upscale this to 8K, but at least it looks better because of the processing power of this TV. And again, this sounds halfway decent without a soundbar, but I would recommend to add one, especially a Samsung, because the Q Symphony will work with that and be able to mimic some of the sounds coming out of the soundbar with the TV itself and give you a pretty tall sound stage. Overall, I'm very
very happy with this TV for watching your typical content, especially if it's going to be upscaled from lower resolution. But let's pop into some HDR movies and see how it looks with that. Okay, so here we are watching Encanto and HDR, and it's just a great movie to show because it kind of highlights all the positives of a great QLED TV. You got great color, fantastic brightness, and these Samsung QLED TVs have fantastic contrast as well. So really nothing much to be upset about when you're watching HDR movies, especially these animated ones that just show it off so well. When we turned the movie on, we noticed that the motion was a little bit choppy, so we wanted to go into the picture clarity settings and put that on custom and move the blur reduction down from 10 to 3, and the judder reduction was already set at 3. I like 3 and 3 for Samsung QLEDs, but if you're talking creator intent, you might just want to turn this off or put them at 0. I did notice a little bit of blooming around the Disney Plus logo, so I'm going to turn this into a widescreen movie and see how it looks when you have subtitles on before we test it out. When watching a widescreen movie or when subtitles come up, including logos and menus, there is a bit of blooming around those brighter areas. It's kind of hard to compare blooming from TV to TV, but Samsung kind of focuses on really bright highlights. So you will get some blooming, but because these dimming zones are so many and so small, you'll get smaller, brighter dimming zones and you'll have some light bleeding, but it's not like it lights up half the panel like some other TVs do that have less dimming zones. So more or less, you're going to see blooming on any LED TV you have. If you're in a super dark room, expect to see it. If you're in a brighter room, it probably won't be as noticeable. But I would say that this is still in the upper 25% or so of blooming for LED TVs. So let's move into some testing where you can maybe see this a little bit more plainly. When you're looking at it with one of these blooming tests, this one from the Villa Man, it's got some great TV videos as well. Check them out. You can definitely see that there's a little bit of light bleeding around the bright line. Again, it's a matter of how bright you want it versus how good a blooming control you'd need. Something like the Qn800b had really good blooming control, but didn't have as bright a highlights. But now this year, the 4K Qn800b doesn't have quite the dimming control, but it has brighter highlights. So you have to choose if you want bright highlights or if you want really aggressive dimming. Another test that we like to do is looking for the dirty screen or light uniformity issues in a panel like this, in any TV really. Really what we're hoping to avoid with a test like this is a dirty or blotchy area on the screen. As the hockey player moves left and right, if you focus on that, it sort of highlights the dirtiness in the screen behind it. And this TV doesn't look bad at all. It doesn't really have too bad of vignetting in the corners, maybe just a very slight bit of vignetting. And overall, the panel looks pretty uniform compared to a lot of other Samsungs I've seen over the years. So I'd have to say it's a little bit better than average. And if your TV's panel was as uniform as this, I don't think you'd notice it in panning scenes of like a bright sky, or if there is a video game you're playing that moves left or right off center very often, I think it'd be pretty solid. And speaking of gaming, let's get into that because of course Samsung makes some great gaming QLED TVs. All right, playing Warzone, pretty fun game of course. This Qn800b 8K QLED has a beautiful picture for gaming. I feel like I sound like a broken record by saying it's so bright and vibrant and the colors are amazing, but it's just the reality of gaming on this sort of TV. Again, I don't notice any of the downsides with regards to the blooming or dirty screen effect or anything like that, so it's all good on that front, but it really is just a remarkable TV. I feel like all of the Samsung QLEDs this year just look really bright and vibrant. It looks like they kind of relaxed the dimming control just a bit from last year and have brighter highlights, and therefore it makes it look a little bit more enjoyable when you're watching a movie or when you're gaming, or even when you're watching TV and cable. Just a really beautiful, bright screen. Samsung has always had that with their QLEDs, as long as you don't have to deal with some of the downsides, like if you have one of the screens that isn't as perfectly uniform as this one, or if you had, blooming issues when there was a lot less number of dimming zones. But a great way to really see what this TV offers is to compare it to something like the 83-inch Master Series OLED from Sony, the A90J sitting right next to it. So let's do that real quick. So a quick comparison. On the left is the Qn800b from Samsung, and on the right is an 83-inch Sony A90J OLED. On the left, you can see that the Samsung is definitely brighter, but on the right, you can see that the Sony, the OLED, has infinite contrast. So in a scene like this, what is more remarkable? Is it that you see that brightness difference, or do you gravitate toward having the better contrast of the OLED on the right? Let me know in the comments, because that's something that people tend to have differing opinions on. And the same goes for that size difference. The Sony on the right is 8 inches larger, but typically for that 83-inch size, it's a lot more expensive. So do you think if you had one of these
things in your house you may miss not having that extra 8 inches in size, let me know that as well. And here on a brighter scene, these are both of the TVs maxed out, and you can see where a QLED, a very bright QLED, has an advantage. Again, it's not just that it's an 8K, it's just that it's far brighter full screen than an OLED. And just talking straight luminance, the Sony on the right just isn't as bright. So if you expose the camera to the Samsung on the left, this is how the Sony on the right would look in comparison. But if you didn't have that Samsung here, of course, the Sony would look brighter to your eyes as they would adjust. So it's not like you should just focus on one of these tests or one of these comparison pieces. It really is a combination of all the differences of the TV. And another factor that differentiates these two TVs is the anti-reflective coating. That, in addition with the brightness, can make a huge difference when you're watching this in a bright room or a dark room. So if you have them in similar brightness and you turn a light on, you can see how they both handle light differently. In the Sony OLED, it's a little brighter, and in the Samsung on the left, you have that rainbow effect where it helps to dissipate that light by refracting it along the screen. Does one of these look more distracting to you? Let's see how that looks in a brighter movie, in a brighter scene. So now we have it in full screen and a brighter scene on an animated movie, so you're about as bright as you're gonna get with these two TVs, and that light is still pretty evident in both of them. But again, it's a bright light, so you have to let me know which one of these is more preferable. And that pretty much does it. I am gonna be making a video comparing these two, or comparing QLED versus OLED in the larger sizes in general, so stay tuned for that sort of video. And let me know in the comments, again, if you think that you'd be okay with this Samsung Qn800b, the second best 8K TV from Samsung, or would you just opt for the 4K Qn800b, because that's a hot seller as well. Let me know in the comments. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, set the notification bell to all, and just like that, you can be the installer.